So if you've been thinking about advertising on Google and you've been looking at local service ads or Google ads, I'm going to walk you through the differences between those two platforms so you can try to figure out which one is best for you. So when it comes to the actual billing on the platform, this is kind of the biggest difference here is that local service ads, they are a pay per lead platform. So you're going to get charged when you get a phone call or when you get a message. And one of the good things about that platform is if you get an irrelevant lead, you can actually dispute that with Google and then potentially get a refund on that lead. Now, when it comes to Google Ads, it is actually a pay per click platform. So you're paying Google to get a click on an ad and then hopefully converting that click into a lead. So Google Ads is not something that I'd recommend if you are just going to throw some money at it and you have no idea what you're doing, because you are going to get charged for clicks, whether it is a relevant search or a completely irrelevant search. So Google Ads, there's a lot more work that goes into it, and it is a pay per click platform, whereas local service ads is pay per lead. Now, another key element to both of them, I kind of categorize as kind of scalability and control. With local service ads, I really like the platform. It's just the problem sometimes is that there's just not a lot of control. There's a lot of factors, in Google's hands that may or may not dictate whether you get leads or not. There's a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to how competitive your local market is. So if there is a big competitor in your local market, they have hundreds or thousands of reviews on their Google business profile, and they have the biggest budget, sometimes they're just able to outbid everybody else for those local service ads. And there's just a lot of things like you can't really scale it super well. So it's just kind of like you set it up in your market. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, it kind of sucks, but maybe you look towards Google Ads. So there's not a ton of control, but it can be great if it does work. Now, Google Ads on the other side of things is, again, there's kind of a lot more risk when it comes to not knowing what you're doing because it's pay per click. But the good thing with Google Ads is there's a lot more control and there's a lot more scalability. So let's say you have a $100 a day budget and you have room within your market to go up to $200-300 a day. You can scale up your lead gen with Google Ads or scale it down if you're at capacity or whatever your needs are. There's a lot more control there because you're paying for the individual click, whereas local service ads, you're just kind of like at the mercy of Google. But my biggest recommendation is if you have the budget and it's kind of in the cards with your capacity for your business, I would probably just combine them both because I think they're both great platforms.